Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to get straight to the knowledge that truly matters. Today, we're diving headfirst into the world of artificial intelligence, specifically Google's free Gemini AI Toolbox. We've got quite a guide to unpack here, lots of surprising facts, some really practical applications. And our mission, it's basically to show you how these, state-of-the-art AI capabilities are now freely accessible, like to anyone with a Google account. And how this is, well, fundamentally changing the game for creators, students, engineers, really anyone just curious about AI.
It really is revolutionary, isn't it? How Google's challenging that traditional model, powerful AI usually hidden behind paywalls. But instead of some watered-down toy, they've released this genuinely multimodal giant. It's capable of writing code, designing art, analyzing video, narrating audio, even building cited research papers, and all accessible from hardware you probably already own. So yeah, we're going to explore every free Gemini tool, walk through some real use cases, and share advanced tips to help you push that free tier to its absolute limit.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Gemini AI. It isn't just one single tool, is it? It sounds more like an interconnected ecosystem.
That's exactly right. Gemini AI is actually a family of sibling models. They're all built on one core architecture. For free users, you'll mostly be interacting with Gemini 2.5 Flash. Now, this model is designed for fast answers, pretty solid reasoning, and it comes with a 32K token context window.
Okay, 32K tokens. And tokens are roughly words or parts of words.
Yeah, think of it like that. And the context window is just how much information the AI can remember and process in one go. There's also flash thinking. Same speed, basically.
Yeah.
But crucially, it shows its reasoning chain.
So you see how it got the answer, like its thought process.
Exactly, which is invaluable for understanding, how it reached a conclusion. And then for those heavier, more complex prompts, Google sometimes unlocks previews of Gemini 2.5 Pro. That's usually during trials. That one offers like deep logic, advanced math, and a massive 1 million token context window.
Wow, 1 million.
Yeah. And all these tiers, they seamlessly handle text, images, audio, code. And they all inherit the same underlying safety protocols, which is important.
So for most people just starting out, where's the primary entry point? Where do they begin with Gemini?
Your everyday launchpad is Gemini Chat. You just go to gemini.google.com. It looks deceptively simple, but it's packed with hidden capabilities. You can, for instance, drop an image of a calculus problem and ask for a step-by-step proof.
Really? Just upload an image?
Yep. Or attach a CSV file of your workout data, then have Gemini graph your heart rate zones and maybe suggest a personalized training plan.
That's pretty cool.
There's even a deep research toggle. It looks like a little Flask icon. That's for structured investigations with sources. We'll dive into that a bit more later. And the best part, you don't need to sit there estimating token counts. Just write. Gemini intelligently guides you if you happen to exceed a specific mode's limit.
Okay, simple chat is one thing. But I'm really curious about the Google AI Studio. You mentioned it's for more serious creative work, almost like a factory for ideas. How does that work?
Absolutely. Yeah, if you navigate to ai.google.dev or astudio.google.com, you'll find 4 powerful panels there. First is the prompt panel. It's your classic experimentation playground, right? But now it supports images, audio, and even structured data like JSON. You can dial the AI's creativity up or down, or make it more focused. You can even save pinned prompts. These are custom instructions you use repeatedly.
Like presets.
Exactly, like maybe a UX copy polisher to instantly convert blunt engineering strings into friendly mobile microcopy. It saves a lot of time. Then there's the build panel. This is honestly a game changer for anyone working with code. You can literally type something like, generate a finance tracker progressive web app.
A PWA, right? Like a website that feels like an app?
Precisely. Yeah. That stores entries locally and syncs with Firebase when online. And Gemini then drafts all the underlying stuff. The service worker, for offline use, builds an IndexedDB cache for local data. It wires up connections to cloud services like Firebase, and even writes a clear readme file for you.
Oh, the whole package.
Yeah, and it supports recursive follow-up, so you can tell it, okay, now replace Firebase with Supabase, and it just intelligently rewires the backend.
That's incredible. Students could blast through projects.
They really can. Sprint through complete coding projects in an afternoon. It's not just speed, it's democratizing access, empowering people without expensive software or big teams. Then, the media panel. This bundles 3 distinct creative engines. You've got the image generator. You can prompt for something super specific like an isometric cyberpunk library made of glass and brushed copper, sunrise lighting, and you get 4 crisp renders in under 30 seconds.
And these have watermarks for ethical use.
Yes, they include an invisible scintillated watermark. It's digitally embedded, so you can always tell if an image was AI generated. Good for transparency. Next is speech generation. You select from various voices, paste in a script, and get studio-grade WAV files.
Useful for, say, audiobook pitches
Yeah,
or practicing accents.
exactly. Or accent training, yeah.
Hmm.
And while full VO access for video generation is usually paid, Google does occasionally release limited previews in media for hobbyists, to test out 10-second video clips.
Okay, that's a powerful suite. But what about real-time interaction, like talking to it or pointing a camera? That's the stream panel, right?
Exactly right. The stream panel, it gives you 3 dynamic ways to interact with Gemini in real time. First is talk, pure voice chat.
Yeah.
You can actually interrupt it, say, hold that thought, and immediately steer the dialogue somewhere else.
Oh, nice. No waiting for it to finish.
Nope. Then there's webcam. This allows for real-time scene analysis. So, like, a gardener can point their phone at a leaf, spot early blight maybe. Or a bike commuter shows a tangled chain, gets step-by-step repair instructions.
Very practical.
And finally, screen share, ideal for software walkthroughs. You could share your screen showing, say, Premiere Pro, ask, where's the 3-way color corrector, and Gemini highlights the panel and explains Limitry scopes.
And no extra software needed.
Nope, just standard browser permissions. It's all pretty seamless.
So we've talked about creating content, but what about visualizing data or maybe app concepts? How does Gemini help bring those to life visually?
Right, that's a key question. Once you have static answers, how do you make them more dynamic, more visual? That's where Canvas mode comes in. It appears inside both Chat and AI Studio whenever you need a live visual element. You could say, paste a 2-column table, highway fuel and speed data, ask for a quadratic trend plot, and Canvas instantly draws the scatter plot, overlays the curve, and even prints the mathematical equation for you.
Interesting. What about maps?
Yeah, or provide a JSON array of earthquake events that's a common data format, ask for circles on a world map sized by magnitude, and boom, Canvas serves up a clickable map.
And app demos. You mentioned the build panel returns code snippets.
Right. So when Build gives you a JavaScript snippet, you can just click Preview in Canvas. It gives you an instant sandbox environment. You totally sidestep setting up a complex development environment just to test something small.
And you can export these visuals.
Yep. Exports to PNG, SVG, or even the raw code itself. Very flexible.
Okay, back to the artists for a second. This idea of unlimited art for $0 from Imagen, that sounds incredibly powerful. Are there any hidden catches, or is it really as good as it sounds for creators?
It's pretty significant because many free AI tiers, they severely throttle your daily image requests, right?
Yeah, you hit a limit quickly.
But Gemini AI Free doesn't, not currently anyway. And this has allowed creators to just, well, sketch entire picture books before lunch or generate hundreds of visual concepts very quickly.
Yeah.
So unlimited art for $0 isn't just about saving money. It really fosters a new kind of artistic iteration.
Exploring more ideas faster.
Exactly. Exploring hundreds of visual ideas in minutes. The bottleneck shifts from resources to just pure imagination. Think about indie game makers, feeding rough pixel mock-ups, prompting for modern AAA realism to upscale environments, or small businesses showing mood board images, asking for a unified visual identity, color guide, typography, the works.
Even in education?
Sure, classroom projects. Ask for a Baroque portrait of Ada Lovelace wearing augmented reality glasses. You get this amazing fusion of oil paint texture and cyberpunk sheen. And all finished files, they include alt text like Gemini AI image generator for that ethical transparency we talked about.
Okay, so that's desktop and web. But Gemini also lives right in your pocket, doesn't it? On mobile?
The Gemini app on Android and iOS integrates your phone's microphone, camera, and even local processing power. This means, say, a Korean language learner can practice conversation, get real-time pronunciation corrections.
Oh, wow, live feedback.
Yeah. Or a developer points their phone at an error log on a second monitor and immediately gets a fix for a missing dependency. Or a chef shows the risotto they're making, asks if the texture's ready.
And Gemini gives cooking advice.
Yep. Might say, stir for 2 more minutes, add a splash of broth if it stiffens. And all these live sessions, they follow the same safety rules as the text chat. And crucially, nothing you do in these live sessions feeds back into the model's training data. Your interactions stay private.
That's good to know. Now, for more serious inquiry, academic work maybe, that deep research toggle you mentioned, it sounds like having a super-powered research assistant.
It really is quite something. Toggling that little flask icon in Gemini Chat, it unleashes research capabilities that genuinely rival a grad assistant. Seriously, Gemini takes your complex question, decomposes it, intelligently searches the web, opens relevant articles, pulls out key sections, and stores all its references.
So it finds and organizes the info.
Exactly. It clusters the findings, ranks the evidence it found, and then drafts a multi-layer report. You get a concise final answer right there in the chat, plus a handy Open in Docs button if you want the full formatted report with all the sources.
How much can you use that?
Free accounts can run around 5 of these long reports each month, which is pretty substantial. Students I've talked to call it a turbo library crawl. Shortened as literature reviews from days down to mere minutes sometimes.
Incredible. And then there's NotebookLM that promises to turn static notes into, living, interactive tutors.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable how NotebookLM evolved. It was a quiet Google Labs project, right? Now it's become this indispensable companion for scholars powered by Gemini. You can just drag and drop PDFs, Word docs, presentation slides, even entire web pages. It ingests these sources.
Okay, so you feed it your material.
Right. Then you ask direct questions, and NotebookLM cites the exact lines from your sources. Or, with just one click, it can generate chapter summaries, flashcards, quiz questions, all based on your material.
That's useful.
And here's where it gets really compelling, I think. Gemini can even build a 2-person podcast episode discussing your document.
Wait, what? A podcast about my notes?
Yeah. So commuters can absorb coursework while driving, just listening to a conversation about it. And everything you upload stays completely private. You can revoke access anytime. It's your data.
Beyond these dedicated tools, though, it sounds like Gemini is also woven pretty seamlessly into the wider Google ecosystem we all use. How does that integration actually enhance our existing workflows?
That's a great point, and it's key to its usefulness. Gemini subtly shows up inside many familiar Google products, just extending their capabilities. So in Gmail, you can have it draft full replies for you, or instantly shift the tone of your message, make it more formal, more casual.
Handy.
In Docs, it can summarize a, say, 20-page brainstorm document in seconds. In Sheets, you don't need complex formulas sometimes. You can just ask for a pivot table and plot growth using natural language.
Just ask for it.
Just ask for it. In Slides, give it a bullet list, request speaker notes and graphic slides to match. Even in Google Meet, you get real-time captions in 40 languages now. And after a call, Gemini can write detailed meeting minutes and even schedule follow-up tasks right in your calendar.
And this workspace integration is free.
For personal accounts, yes. This deep integration remains free.
Okay, what about listeners who like to tinker, to build their own projects? How does Gemini open up possibilities for developers on the free tier?
Well, the API gateway, which you find inside AI Studio, provides a free quota. It typically allows thousands of tokens per day. That's often more than enough for many hobby projects or small experiments.
So you can actually build things calling Gemini.
Absolutely. It enables incredibly rapid prototyping. Like you could have a React front end that's a popular framework for websites calling Gemini to parse sensor data and maybe suggest maintenance actions. Or a Unity game project streaming player choices to the API to get dynamic story branches generated on the fly.
Wow, dynamic narratives.
Yeah. You can even use simple Python scripts to hit Gemini for quick category tags and NLP, natural language processing tasks. That can dramatically cut down on manual annotation hours. And Google kind of sprinkles hidden extras and experimental labs all over the ecosystem, too.
Oh, like what?
Well, there are things like Soul's extensions for YouTube. They automatically get time-stamped ingredient lists from cooking videos. There's Gemini in Chrome to quickly explain any paragraph on a web page. On some Pixel phones, there's an Android system prompt that floats over any app for quick interactions. And there are even beta plugins for AI Studio to query Cloud SQL or BigQuery datasets. Those are Google's big database services just using simple English commands.
So these experiments might become standard features later.
Often, yeah. They start experimental and then graduate to core status if they prove useful.
It's one thing to list all these features, but what does this look like in practice, in a real-world integrated workflow? Could you walk us through an example, maybe?
Sure. Let's consider Laura. She's a fictional solo indie game developer. So in the morning, she uses NotebookLM, uploads her game design document, gets an automatic task roadmap for her day.
Okay, organized.
Then she drafts some character art in Imagen, makes a few tweaks to the visuals, exports transparent PNGs. Later, she goes to the build panel, types something like platformer engine with parallax scrolling and double jump. Gemini writes the TypeScript code, bundles a zipped project ready for her.
Instant code.
Pretty much. Then, the media speech generation tool turns her game dialogue script into actual voice lines. When she records a divlog video for YouTube, Gemini transcribes it, extracts chapters, suggests YouTube timestamps.
Automating the tedious stuff.
Exactly. Then she drafts a marketing email in Gmail, And Gemini rewrites it with, punchy, engaging storytelling. In the evening, maybe NotebookLM consumes her new notes on shader math. And the audio overview feature turns it into bedtime listening to help her learn.
And all of that for free.
All of that for $0, yeah. With Google handling all the heavy computing in the background.
That's a really comprehensive example. It puts it all together. So if someone is looking at the free AI tools available today, and there are a few big ones, how does Gemini really stack up, say, against competitors like ChatGPT or Claude?
Right. Looking at the competitive landscape is important. Gemini AI Free really stands out in a few key ways. It offers that multimodal input, text, image, and audio, plus unlimited image generation, which is huge. It has full duplex voice chat, meaning you can interrupt it, built-in deep research, and a pretty generous context window, 32K tokens or more. It also provides video analysis capabilities and those extensive integrations with Google Workspace.
Okay, so breadth and media, how do the others compare?
Well, ChatGPT Free is primarily text-only. It offers a small image quota, has pretty elementary voice chat compared to Gemini, no built-in deep research feature, and a smaller context window, around 8K tokens. Claude Free is also primarily text-only. No image generation, no real voice chat, minimal deep research. But Claude Free does boast a large 100K token context window, which makes it really good for digesting and analyzing very long text documents.
So they have different strengths.
Exactly. If you connect this to the bigger picture, Claude excels at large text digestion. ChatGPT is fantastic for creative long-form writing. But Gemini AI, especially the free tier, arguably wins on sheer breadth of features, that deep integration across Google products, and the unlimited media processing.
Gotcha. Now, for our listeners who want to really push this free tier, squeeze every bit of value out of it, do we have any expert tips?
Absolutely. Yeah, happy to share some ways you can maximize Gemini AI's free capabilities. Here are 10. 1. Switch the model dropdown to flash thinking when you need that transparent reasoning to see the why behind the answer.
Okay, see the thought process.
2. Paste CSV lines directly into chat, then ask for a graph in Canvas. No separate upload needed, it's faster. 3. Chain media and build together, like generate an image in media, then feed it back into build as a texture inside a 3.js scene. That's a library for 3D web graphics.
Combining the tools. Nice.
Yeah. 4. Use voice interruption in the stream panel. Adjust your conversational path without restarting the whole context. 5. For screen share tutorials, remember to zoom the user interface you're sharing so Gemini can read the labels clearly. Makes a difference.
Good practical tip.
6. Combine the output from deep research with NotebookLM. Feed the report into NotebookLM to create a truly personalized knowledge engine based on your own inquiries. 7. Try building prototypes on weekends. Anecdotally, Google sometimes lifts quota limits a bit on off-peak days. No guarantees, but worth a shot.
Hey, weekend hacking.
8. If you're using AI images professionally, embed synthetize checks into your production pipelines. It helps flag AI-generated content easily before publishing. 9. Just show me the JSON into your prompt sometimes. This tells Gemini to give you a structured response, which is super easy for other applications to parse downstream.
For developers mainly.
Yeah. And 10. Keep an eye on the @Gemini AI community channel on YouTube. Google often hides weekly mini lessons and advanced tips there. It's a good resource.
Great list. Okay, looking forward. What's on the road ahead for Gemini AI? What can we kind of expect next?
Well, Google engineers are hinting pretty strongly that the next major wave for Gemini will focus on executing real-world actions, under your supervision, of course.
Actions, like booking things.
Exactly. Imagine telling your phone, plan a 3-day trip to Lahore, book the train, and fill my itinerary calendar.
Whoa.
This agentic era, as they call it, will likely include really robust and secure authorization frameworks. So Gemini can interact with payment systems, schedule meetings, manage cloud resources, but only when you explicitly approve each time.
Control is key there.
Absolutely. And on the research front, the DeepMind half of the team, they're the AI research powerhouse within Google. They're teasing some transfer learning breakthroughs. This could potentially let Gemini AI learn a completely new coding language from just a single technical document, like an RFC.
Learn a whole language from one doc.
That's the idea. Which means even highly specialized or maybe older programming languages, like COBOL and banking systems, or cutting-edge quantum computing languages. They could become accessible just through a simple prompt.
That opens up a lot of possibilities. So, wrapping up, what does this all really mean for you, our listener?
Yeah, what's the takeaway? I think 2 years ago, if you wanted to build an app, design its promo art, voice a trailer for it, and write a detailed market analysis, that would have required a small team, right? Or at least half a dozen different paid tools and subscriptions. Gemini AI compresses that entire workflow, potentially, into an afternoon, and crucially, charges nothing for the core tools. When students in, say, rural classrooms can wield the same creativity engines as big Silicon Valley studios, well, the playing field fundamentally tilts. It tilts towards raw imagination and ingenuity rather than just who has the biggest budget. It's a profound shift, I think.
That's a truly powerful thought. The lab doors are wide open, the equipment is genuinely world-class, and the only admission price really is your curiosity. We hope this deep dive has given you a shortcut to being well-informed, and maybe, more importantly, has inspired you to explore what's truly possible with these tools.
Yeah, go ahead. Fire up Chat, open AI Studio, point your phone camera at the next challenge life throws your way, and, invite Gemini AI to help. Ask yourself, what stands out to you as the most impactful or surprising capability of this free AI toolbox? Let that question guide your next exploration.